Let's start off by defining some important terms that it is really critical that we understand and appreciate the differences. The first one is equality. What is equality? The dictionary defines equality as the state of being equal, especially in status, rights, and opportunities. And what this essentially means is that in the workplace, we need to ensure that every individual has an equal opportunity to make the most of their lives and talents. It's also the belief that we should not have poorer life chances just because of the way we were born, where we come from, what we believe, or whether we have a disability. This is something which is really important for us to internalize and see that around us are people being treated differently and given different opportunities just because they look different from us, have maybe a different belief system, or maybe they just come from a different background. So it's really important to first internalize the need for us to treat everyone as equals. And once we have that, we come to the second aspect of this very important topic, which is what is diversity. And this is something which is a little bit different from the previous concept. While in equality, we are basically saying that you as an individual have the right to the same opportunities, the same chances in life as anyone else, regardless of any of these various biological or cultural demographic factors. Diversity, I would say, is more about a state. Um, so the noun says it is the state of being diverse. And what that means is that am I actually in a workplace which is representative of the kind of um, ecosystem that it's a part of? So do we have enough people in our organization that represent various communities which come from different demographic backgrounds? And it means more than just acknowledging and tolerating differences, but more than that, it means to actually encourage these alliances, the conversations amongst people who have these different backgrounds. So you start off with building these communication bridges across groups of different people. You make sure that you instill a culture that allows and encourages you to practice mutual respect for an individual's experiences, their beliefs, and their proclivities. And finally, it's very, very important that you recognize that personal, cultural, and institutionalized discrimination creates and sustains privileges for some while creating and sustaining disadvantages for others. And it is the acceptance of this that you may be coming from a place of privilege versus somebody else who is facing some kind of a disadvantage just by virtue of where they come from, the way they look, or perhaps their gender. That is the first step in moving towards a more diverse and inclusive workplace. Which brings us to the third pillar of having an extremely healthy workplace, which is inclusion. What is inclusion? It is the action or state of including or being included within a group or structure. Um, I think in the modern world, all of us can relate to this very intimately because all of us have had instances in our life where we have felt as an outsider. So it is that feeling that you need to reflect back on and think about whether your workplace allows you to create these safe spaces where people of different uh, cultural backgrounds, different religions, different genders, different belief systems, different physical abilities can come together and work in a healthy, productive workplace. So this is something which is easier said than done, and it's definitely not a one-way street. It works two ways. The organizations not only need to make sure that they instill this inclusive culture where they are facilitating people to proactively engage, but it is also the sense which gets born out of having the organization create this space. And this is something which requires the right policies, but it also requires the right people to get hired who allow the organization to actually implement such policies. But when you actually have a workplace which is diverse, which believes in equity and equality amongst these various diverse groups, and which believes in encouraging and fostering the sense of inclusion, you ultimately get that really comfortable and a secure sense that we call belonging. And this is that elusive emotion that we are trying to achieve in our workplace by following something that we ultimately believe will achieve, and this removal of the sense of differences and the sense of disadvantages or advantages that an individual may get just because of the kind of demography they are from, their belief system, or their physical abilities.